A recent article in the Sunday Gleaner exploiting brand Jamaica was covered in our Hot Topics on Monday. So we brought in the featured persons to discuss the issues of trademarking brand Jamaica internationally. Nigel and Jessica Houghton are the owners of Nigel's Jamaican Almond Oil, and Lily Claire Bellamy is the acting executive director and legal counsel at the Jamaica Intellectual Property Office. Good morning, everyone.
Morning, everyone.
Welcome to Smile Jamaica. It's morning time. Lily Claire, I'm going to start with you. I guess we should be so honored that everybody wants to stamp Jamaica on their brands, but how do we protect the name of our country?
Okay, well, thank you very much for having me here this morning. It's really my privilege. Unfortunate circumstances are there, though. Well, Jamaica, the government of Jamaica has actually started an initiative. It was mentioned in the newspaper article, but there was a number of inaccuracies, so I'll clear those up now. At the World Intellectual Property Organization, which is the United Nations body that has responsibility for intellectual property, and the initiative that we started there is a protection of country names. So this has been going on from the year 2008. We had a strong push. In the Trademark Act at present, there's a section that deals with the protection of armorial bearings and flags. And you would have heard during the independence and emancipation celebrations a lot of discussion about protection of the national symbols. That's a local initiative to raise the level of awareness of how we use our national symbols, which also ties in with the use of the country name. So at the World Intellectual Property Organization, we have been presenting arguments to encourage member states not to use country names when they're describing products or describing anything to do with a state with which they have no real relationship. So we're now at the stage, as I told you, it's been going on from 2008, but you understand in international negotiations it takes time and you ask for a lot. You ask for more than you know that you're going to get so that you have room in which to negotiate and to maneuver. So that's what we've been doing. And actually, we have been generating a lot more support. The article suggested that the World Intellectual Property Organization wasn't supporting, but we have been getting support from member organizations. And I should mention that when we started the initiative, it was Jamaica alone. Well, the government of Barbados has been extremely supportive, so it became a joint. And,
awesome.
Right, and then you will recall some time ago that we started another initiative to protect geographical indications. So the government of Switzerland helped us with that process because the Swiss and the French have been involved in the protection of geographical indications. I don't think there's anybody who doesn't know about champagne, which comes from that region.
Let me jump in.
Yes.
What do you mean by protecting a country name? What if I say Neville's Scottish shoes? I can't say that?
No, you shouldn't say Neville's Scottish shoes. Are they Scottish shoes, Neville? Were they made?
What if I just want that name? What do you mean by protecting a country name?
Okay, so in Jamaica, if you come to us now with Neville's Scottish shoes, we'd say to you, Mr. Bell, could you tell us what your relationship with Scotland is? Are you of Scottish origin? Were those shoes made in Scotland? Why are you using the name of Scotland in that
So the fact that I like the name is not good enough?
No. But if you go to another jurisdiction, they may just register your trademark Neville's Scottish shoes.
Okay.
But the government of Scotland, if they feel, you know, they don't really want their name to be used and associated with shoes, they could try through the foreign affairs channels to ask the government in whichever state it was registered to withdraw it.
Let's be specific now. Mrs. Houghton, what's going on here? Why is an American using a name that you don't want them to use? How did that come about?
Well, my husband and I entered into a partnership, an informal partnership investment from this gentleman, and things didn't go quite right. He wanted us to take the Jamaican flag off of our product. And that was the time where that was the last straw, and we dissolved our relationship with him. That's when he let us know that he went through with filing a trademark in the United States. And I asked him not to do that, that should be reserved for Jamaican. My husband is Jamaican, Nigel is Jamaican, so it should be reserved for Jamaican. And so he proceeded to let us know that we could use the word Jamaican almonds if we were to lease it from him for $1 a year for 5 years, at which time we told him not only no on our behalf, but no on behalf of Jamaica.
Right, let me jump in now. The fact that he trademarked that name, he didn't do anything wrong, did he?
No, he didn't. But when he trademarked the name Jamaica Almond Oil, what you can do, since you are the owners of the product, and you have been, how long have you been using it?
We've been using the name Nigel's Jamaican Almond World since 2012.
Okay, so we're in 2014, so that's 2 years. Well, what you can do is when somebody, and this is international, when someone makes an application for a trademark, you can oppose that application. So what you can do is indicate to the office that registered it, because it gets published, and when it's published, that's the opportunity for you to say, we disagree and we're opposing it on these grounds.
But he didn't register it in Jamaica, did
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't
Okay.
matter.
Okay.
It doesn't matter because it is your Jamaican product. So you have a right to go. And this is where you can enlist the support, because people are going to say they can't afford it. But you could perhaps enlist the support of an attorney in the diaspora who would be willing to do it, just like you are saying, on behalf of Jamaica. So you speak to someone and ask them to oppose the mark on your behalf, and then you present arguments, and then it is heard. It mightn't happen, but he may not want to go through the route of that. And the fact that he is willing to license it to you for $1 a year, because he recognizes the potential it has. So he'll give it to you for 5 years, and then when it takes off, the terms will obviously change. But what I really want to suggest, and I want to say this generally, if you're entering into any agreement with anybody, it is very important and critical that you put in an intellectual property rights clause in that agreement. So from the get-go, you establish the ownership, because what we need to understand, the almond oil is not what is valuable, you know, it's a trademark. Because anybody who now gets the trademark and the reputation and the goodwill behind it, it's like the name TVJ. If the station no longer exists, it doesn't matter, but people are going to be scrambling to get the name TVJ because you have developed a reputation and all the goodwill that's associated with that. And that's what you need to do. You need to oppose him as far as possible. What we need to do, and I encourage you to come to our office, because I don't think you've registered here either. So you stand a chance of somebody in Jamaica coming forward and trying to trademark your product right here in Jamaica. So you can come and visit us when we're finished here.
I wanted to ask something really clear, and it's a bit of what's in a name.
Yeah.
So he's trademarked Jamaican Almond. Nigel's is Nigel's Jamaican Almond. Even though the word Jamaican Almond is still in the full phrasing, the fact that he's added Nigel's, does that make a difference?
Well, what we would say is that it's confusingly similar, because you have Jamaica almond oil in all of them. And so if somebody came in and they wanted TVG, and it sounds close to the J, we would say to them, really? I mean.
Nigel, is he doing business under the name, or he just has the name right now?
As far as I know, he just has the name.
So he's not doing any business?
No.
Does he want to be a part of this business?
Yes.
And is that the sticking point here?
That is the sticking point.
Okay. As it stands, you said he didn't do anything illegal, so he does have that trademark.
Well, he didn't do anything illegal in terms of the registration of the trademark. I don't know about anything else.
Yeah, but as it stands with the trademark,
Yes.
are they not in breach then?
No, because he would have to now bring an action against them to stop using it. He hasn't, because he doesn't want them to. He really wants them to keep selling the product so that the reputation of Jamaica almond oil will be built, and then he'll get more money.
You want to say something?
Yeah.
We were sent a letter via email from a Jamaican attorney on the Americans' behalf that we were not permitted to use the word Jamaican almond.
Well, that's my point. If he trademark, if the name belongs to him, then obviously they're in breach.
Yeah, but he said, because what I was going on from was what Mrs. Hartney had just mentioned, that he wanted to enter into an agreement with them. So if that is on the table, he shouldn't have written that letter.
Worst case scenario, what can happen? Could he sue them and stop them from using
He can, which is why if he's fully registered, then he's within his right to do it. If he's not fully registered and there is a possibility that they can still oppose, then he doesn't have a leg to stand on. So it becomes now a dispute between both parties. And I would strongly encourage them to see, because when did he start this registration? Do you know?
He started the registration in 2014, and he mentioned in an email that he wasn't interested in making money off of the name. He was more interested in product development because it's a product that Nigel is the first person to make it, so he wants to be a part
We
of
have
that.
to go. What is the product? What does it do?
It's Jamaican almond oil. It's rich in vitamin E, B6, B12. It's good for eczema, psoriasis. If you're constipated, you can drink some of it. Any kind of joint pains, arthritis, all that. It's good for increase the hair growth.
Something that you drink, or
Yes.
You put it on your skin.
It
too.
increase hair growth, reduce wrinkles, stretch marks, dark circles, and back some of that.
It will help it.
I'm
It will
asking
take
if
care
you
of
leave
it.
the big buckle,
level.
not the small one. the
I hope
big
it
one.
works out. How quickly can it be worked out, if it can be worked out?
Well, what I would encourage them to do is, if it started in 2014, you may still have time to oppose his registration of the trademark, which I'd encourage you to investigate, and I'd encourage you to get a Jamaican lawyer in the diaspora. I sincerely would.
Finally. Can he get nothing now? The fact that they're using his name, can he get anything and say, well, you're using my name, you're selling products, I want some of that money or anything? Can he demand anything now?
He can, but
He can?
He can, but I think what we need to do, his attorney wrote, we need to get an attorney to respond to his attorney, okay, and to show evidence of this registration of this trademark, and to show that he got it in good faith. Because if you have an agreement, all of this needs to be brought to bear.
Yeah, I did say final question.
Sorry.
But until it's worked out, so that you don't get yourself in trouble, was there any thought of changing the name?
Absolutely not.
All right, fair enough. Acting Executive Director and Legal Counsel at JIPO, Littlecare Bellamy, and owners of Nigel's Jamaican Almond Oil, Nigel and Jessica Horton.
On the other side of the break, we tackle fun and random topics at the water cooler. Stay with us.